they tried to get me to not like Puffy and Biggie while we was in the middle of the Death Row Bad Boy feud. And I made a choice that I had no issues with them.
50 Cent just did the unthinkable. He released a documentary that is tearing Hollywood apart and exposing secrets that were buried for decades. But while everyone is watching Diddy fall, nobody noticed that Snoop Dogg has gone completely silent. Why did the loudest man in hip-hop suddenly lose his voice the moment 50 Cent's documentary hit Netflix? The truth is darker than you think. It involves a secret lawsuit, a shocking trafficking charge, and a warning from 50 Cent that has Snoop shaking in his boots. The drop that shook the world. Everything changed on December 2nd, 2025. That was the day Netflix released the most controversial documentary in hip-hop history. It is called Sean Combs' The Reckoning. This was not just a movie, it was a weapon. And the man holding the trigger was Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. For years, 50 Cent warned us. He told us he had tapes. He told us he knew what was happening behind those closed doors in the Hollywood Hills. People thought he was just trolling. They thought he was making jokes on Instagram. But 50 Cent was not joking. He was building a case. When the documentary dropped, it did not just tell us about Diddy. It showed us. 50 Cent and his team got their hands on footage that nobody was supposed to see. They had clips of Diddy in New York City just days before his arrest in September 2024. In these clips, you see a man who knows the walls are closing in. You see a man trying to fix his image before the feds come knocking. Diddy's team went crazy. They called it a shameful hit piece. They said the footage was stolen. They claimed Diddy hired a cameraman to tell his own story, and somehow 50 Cent got the tapes. Think about that for a second. How did 50 Cent get footage that was filmed by Diddy's own personal videographer? It means there is a leak. It means the people closest to Diddy turned on him. And that is why everyone in the industry is terrified. If the cameraman flipped, who else flipped? Who else is talking to 50 Cent? This is the nightmare that woke Snoop Dogg up, because Snoop was not just watching from the sidelines. Snoop was right there in the mix for decades. And now, the one man who knows where all the skeletons are buried is running the show on Netflix. The best friend myth. To understand why Snoop Dogg is hiding, you have to understand his relationship with Diddy. They want you to think they were just co-workers. They want you to think they were just two rap legends who respected each other. That is a lie. They were best friends. After the East Coast and West Coast war ended, Snoop and Diddy became the kings of peace. They toured together. They partied together. They were seen everywhere together. When Diddy threw his famous parties, Snoop was on the guest list. When Snoop threw a party, Diddy was there. Do you remember Diddy's 50th birthday party in 2019? It was one of the biggest events in Hollywood history. Everyone was there. Jay-Z was there. Kanye was there. And of course, Snoop Dogg was there. They took photos together. They toasted to the good life. They built a brand together. They were the untouchable moguls. They showed the world that you could survive the gangster life and become a corporate boss. Snoop even looked up to Diddy. He said he wanted to be a businessman like him. He watched how Diddy moved. He watched how Diddy handled his contracts. He watched how Diddy controlled his empire. Snoop bought Death Row Records, the label that started his career. Who did he call for advice? He looked at Diddy's playbook. They were connected at the hip. But now, that connection is a curse, because being Diddy's best friend is not a badge of honor anymore. It is a target on your back. And 50 Cent is looking for targets. The silence of the dog. Snoop Dogg is never quiet. That is his whole brand. He talks about everything. He comments on sports. He comments on politics. He comments on viral videos. He posts on Instagram 10 times a day. He is the uncle of America. But when the Diddy news broke, something strange happened. Snoop went mute. When the federal agents raided Diddy's houses in Los Angeles and Miami, Snoop said nothing. When the indictment was unsealed and we learned about the freak-offs and the baby oil and the trafficking charges, Snoop said nothing. When Cassie filed her lawsuit that started the whole collapse, Snoop said nothing. This is the man who has an opinion on everything. But on the biggest story in hip-hop history, he has no words. Why? Is he protecting his friend, or is he protecting himself? 50 Cent noticed the silence. He went on social media and started poking the bears. He called out Jay-Z. He called out Rick Ross. He posted memes asking why Diddy's friends were so quiet. He said that if you are silent, it means you are okay with what happened, or it means you are scared that you are next. Snoop Dogg saw those posts. He knows how 50 Cent operates. If you engage with 50, he will destroy you. If you ignore 50, he will keep poking until you break. So, Snoop tried a different strategy. He tried to pivot. He tried to change the subject. But 50 Cent does not let you change the subject. The pivot to the good boss. Snoop finally broke his silence in a very calculated way. He went on a show called The Shade Room. He knew they were going to ask him about Diddy. He could not avoid it forever. But listen closely to what he said. He did not defend Diddy. He did not say Diddy was innocent. He did not say Diddy was his brother. He said he was very surprised. He said he did not expect any of this to happen. And then he immediately started talking about himself. He said, "I like to treat people good." He said he wants to make sure the people who work for him are happy. He said he wants to be a better boss. Why would he say that? Why would he compare himself to Diddy right in that moment? He was drawing a line in the sand. He was telling the world, "I am not him." He was trying to separate the good boss from the bad boss. He was telling us that he learned from Diddy's mistakes. He said that as a businessman, he learned to be good to people because he knows what it feels like to have bad business done to him. He was talking about contracts. He was talking about money. But Diddy is not in jail for bad contracts. Diddy is not in jail for stealing royalties. Diddy is in jail for sex trafficking and racketeering. Snoop was trying to lower the temperature. He was trying to make it about business ethics. But the allegations against Diddy are not about business. They are about crimes against women. They are about violence. They are about coercion. By talking about being a better boss, Snoop was trying to hide the real issue. He was trying to make us forget that he was in the same rooms where the bad things allegedly happened. But 50 Cent did not forget. The warning shots. 50 Cent knows how to play the game better than anyone. He knows that if he attacks Snoop directly, it might look bad. Snoop is beloved. Snoop is carrying the Olympic torch. Snoop is on NBC. So, 50 Cent decided to send a warning shot instead. In August 2025, 50 Cent was on his final lap tour. He was selling out arenas all over the world. He posted a video on Instagram from a sold-out show in Albuquerque. The crowd was going wild. 50 looked like the king of the world, but look at the caption he wrote. He told his fans that the next show in Los Angeles was sold out. But then he said, "Call Snoop Dogg for tickets. He can still get everybody in." Then he said, "I'm turning my phone off. LOL." It sounded like a joke, but it was not a joke. It was a power move. Suddenly, Snoop's phone started blowing up. Thousands of people were calling him and messaging him, asking for tickets to 50 Cent's show. Snoop had to make a video responding to it. He looked annoyed. He said, "Why are you all calling me for tickets? I don't have tickets to 50's concert or mine." Why did 50 Cent do that? He was showing Snoop that he has the power to disrupt his life with one sentence. He was showing Snoop that he controls the narrative. He was telling Snoop, "I can send the mob to your doorstep whenever I want." It was a reminder. It was 50 Cent saying, "I am watching you. I know you are hiding, and I can pull you into this mess whenever I feel like it." Snoop got the message loud and clear. That is why he laughed it off. That is why he did not get angry. He knows you do not start a war with 50 Cent when you have skeletons in your own closet. And Snoop has a very big skeleton that he is trying desperately to keep hidden. The Jane Doe secret. This is the part of the story that nobody is talking about. This is the real reason Snoop Dogg disappeared. While the world is focused on the lawsuits against Diddy, there is another lawsuit that looks very similar, and it is against Snoop Dogg. In 2022, a woman known as Jane Doe filed a lawsuit against Snoop Dogg and his associate, Bishop Don Magic Juan. The details of this lawsuit are shocking, and if you read them, you will understand why Snoop is so terrified of the Diddy documentary. The woman claims that in 2013, she went to a Snoop Dogg concert in Anaheim, California. After the show, she says she was offered a ride home by Bishop Don Magic Juan. She fell asleep in the car. But when she woke up, she was not at her house. She was at the bishop's house. She claims that the bishop forced her to perform acts on him against her will. This is the first part of the nightmare, but it gets worse. She says that the next day, the bishop told her they were going to the studio to see Snoop. He told her that maybe Snoop would make her a weather girl on his TV show. He dangled a career opportunity in front of her. Does that sound familiar? That is the exact same thing Diddy is accused of doing, using his power and his influence to lure people in. When they got to the studio, the woman says she felt sick. She went to the bathroom to use the toilet, and that is when she says Snoop Dogg walked in. She claims Snoop cornered her in the bathroom. She says he forced her to perform oral sex on him while she was sitting on the toilet. She says she was scared for her life. She says she did not want to do it, but she felt like she had no choice. She says Snoop did what he wanted to do, and then he left her there. Later, she did not get the job on the TV show. She believes she was used and discarded. The trafficking charge. Now, here's the most dangerous part for Snoop. When the woman filed the lawsuit, she did not just sue for assault. She sued for violations of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. Trafficking. That is the magic word. That is the word that is keeping Diddy in jail without bail. That is the word that carries a life sentence. The lawsuit alleges that Snoop and his associate worked together to transport her and coerce her into sex acts. That is the definition of sex trafficking under the federal law. Just recently, in late 2024, the legal battle heated up again. The accuser is seeking sanctions against Snoop. She says his lawyers are playing dirty games. She says they are asking invasive questions about her medical history to intimidate her. Snoop denies everything. He says it is a shakedown. He says it is gold digger season. He says the woman is lying to get money. But look at the timing. Diddy is going down for sex trafficking. The feds are looking at everyone in the industry who used their power to abuse women. And right here, sitting in the court system, is a lawsuit accusing Snoop Dogg of the exact same thing. If Snoop speaks up about Diddy, he brings attention to his own case. If he defends Diddy, people will say, of course you are defending him. You are a trafficker too. If he attacks Diddy, people will say, you are a hypocrite. Look at what you did in 2013. He is trapped. He cannot say a word. His only option is to disappear. The corporate shield. There is one more reason why Snoop is hiding, and it is worth millions of dollars. Snoop Dogg is not just a rapper anymore. He is a corporate mascot. He is the face of the Paris Olympics. He is the face of Corona Beer. He is the face of Skechers. He is the face of Grubhub. But his biggest deal right now is with Netflix. Yes, the same Netflix that released 50 Cent's documentary. On Christmas Day, December 25th, 2025, Snoop Dogg is scheduled to perform the halftime show for the NFL game between the Lions and the Vikings. This game is being streamed live on Netflix. Think about how crazy that is. Netflix is airing a documentary that exposes the dark side of the hip-hop industry. And at the same time, they are paying the biggest star in that industry to perform a family-friendly concert on Christmas. Netflix is playing both sides. They are making money off the scandal with 50 Cent, and they are making money off the nostalgia with Snoop Dogg. But for this to work, Snoop has to stay clean. He has to stay away from the Diddy mess. He cannot be associated with freak-offs and trafficking. He has to be the fun Uncle Snoop who smokes weed and hangs out with Martha Stewart. If the world starts looking at Snoop's lawsuit, the Netflix deal could collapse. The NFL does not like scandals. They do not want a suspected sex trafficker performing on Christmas Day. So, Snoop has to play a role. He has to smile. He has to dance. He has to pretend that his best friend Diddy is not sitting in a jail cell. He has to pretend that 50 Cent is not exposing the truth about their lifestyle. The strategy of silence. This is why Snoop Dogg disappeared. It is not because he is busy. It is not because he is on tour. It is because he is surviving. He is watching what happened to Diddy. He is watching how the public turned on him. He sees that 50 Cent is on a warpath, and he does not want to be the next victim. 50 Cent's documentary, The Reckoning, is not just a movie about one man. It is a warning to the whole industry. It says that the old days are over. It says that you cannot hide your secrets anymore. Snoop knows this. He knows that one wrong move could ruin everything he has built. He knows that Jane Doe is waiting in the courtroom. He knows that 50 Cent is waiting on Instagram. So he stays quiet. He posts about football. He posts about his grandkids. He posts about anything except the one thing that matters. The silence of Snoop Dogg is the loudest sound in hip-hop right now. It tells us that fear has taken over. The man who used to be untouchable is now hiding in plain sight. 50 Cent has exposed the game. He has pulled back the curtain, and what we see behind it is not a party. It is a crime scene. Diddy is the first to fall, but he might not be the last. As the lawsuits pile up and the documentaries keep coming, everyone is wondering the same thing. Who is next? Snoop Dogg is doing everything he can to make sure the answer is not him. But with 50 Cent running the show, nobody is safe. Not even the Dogfather. The reckoning is here, and it is coming for everyone. Analysis of the facts. Let's break down the truth behind the story we just told. 50 Cent really did produce the documentary Sean Combs' The Reckoning, which was released on Netflix in December 2025. The documentary features footage leading up to Diddy's arrest, which Diddy's team claims was stolen from his personal videographer. This has caused a massive panic in the industry about who is leaking information. Snoop Dogg and Diddy have a documented friendship spanning decades, including joint tours and high-profile parties. Snoop's recent silence on the Diddy indictment is a stark contrast to his usual outspoken social media presence. His interview on The Shade Room was a masterclass in deflection, where he spoke about being a better boss to distance himself from Diddy's management style, which is now associated with criminal enterprise. The warning shot from 50 Cent occurred in August 2025 during his final lap tour. 50 Cent posted on Instagram telling fans to ask Snoop for tickets to his sold-out show, a move that flooded Snoop's phone and forced a public response. While playful on the surface, in the context of their relationship and the looming documentary, it served as a demonstration of 50 Cent's ability to direct public harassment towards Snoop at will. Most importantly, the Jane Doe lawsuit against Snoop Dogg is real. It was refiled in mid-2022 and alleges violations of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act stemming from a 2013 incident involving Bishop Don Magic Juan. The specific allegations, transportation, coercion, and sexual assault in a studio environment mirror the pattern of behavior described in the Diddy indictment. Recent legal filings from late 2024 show this case is still active and contentious. Finally, Snoop's business interests are a major factor. His Christmas Day NFL halftime show on Netflix places him in a delicate position where he must maintain a family-friendly image, while the same platform streams a documentary about the crimes of his close friend. His silence is a strategic necessity to protect these corporate partnerships. The story of Snoop's disappearance is not about him leaving the public eye. It is about him retreating from his history with Diddy to survive the purge that 50 Cent has initiated.